All right, we are moving on. So now that we have a sense of frequency distributions, histograms, frequency polygons, so how can we improve upon these even more? Well, really, there's not much improving that we can do, but we can expand the idea for even larger data sets. So, and these ones will be called grouped frequency distributions. So for even larger data sets, it may be more useful to look at groups or classes of numbers instead of individual values. So when you have a lot of individual values in your data set, it just doesn't make a lot of sense to have all those individual frequencies if you have 100 different values. So let's try this next problem. So we have scores of the 48 members of the sociology lecture on a 50-point exam were as follows. So we have all those different data values in there, scores out of 50. So we want to construct a grouped frequency and relative frequency distribution using the given data. Use 6 classes with a uniform class width of 5 points where the lower limit of the first class is 21 points. Okay, so there's a lot to unpack here. So the first thing though they say is to use 6 classes. So right off the bat, I know that I'm going to have 6 rows of data. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I've already got it set up for 6, so that's good. Now, the next piece they tell us is this uniform class width of 5 points. What does that mean? Well, it's basically telling you how big each interval is, or class. So if we know that the lower limit of the first class is 21, that means that I am starting at 21 and I'm going to something. But what that something is, I'm not sure yet. But that's where this class width of 5 comes in. Now, you're probably thinking, oh, I know the answer. If I just add 5 to this 21, that'll get me to 26. So I should stop at 26. Unfortunately, that is not correct. Now, why? Well, use your fingers. If you use your fingers and say, okay, well, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, and 6 would be 26. So 6 big would give us this class width. So we can't just add 5 to our starting point. That won't work. But what we can do is add 5 vertically. If we add 5 vertically, that means that the starting point for the next one is 26. And so if this one starts at 26, then we know this one better end at 25. Now, however you want to fill in the rest of your classes, you're welcome to do so, but I would advise just working down. Always work down with that class width. So add 5, and so on. And that'll take care of all of your starting points for each one of your classes. And now, once you have the starting point here, you can do the same thing. You can add 5 and work your way down. So it's a nice, quick way to do it. But like I said, a common mistake is students love to add across, and you can't do that. That class width will not work that way. And just use your fingers and your toes if you have to. But just be careful. So yeah, add that 5. But now we have to do our counting again. So we have to use our tallies and whatnot. Now for this one, it's a little tougher because you have the classes. So I would just work them one at a time. So I got 40 to start. So 40 is going to go here. 45 and 38. 45 and so on. Like I said, it's a tedious activity, but as long as you're careful, you can get through it pretty quickly. Need the Jeopardy theme song or something. Probably would get cited for it though. So how are you guys doing today? Big thing is just trying not to screw up, but as long as you just keep on picking away. Need a fast forward button, don't you? And we're getting there. So we're almost there. Okay, whew, we made it. So now we can just translate these into numbers. 1, 2, 5, 12, 16, and 12. Now, chances are I might have made a mistake, but let's see if we got at least the total of all the frequencies correct, because we know there should be 48, whoops, there should be, there it is, 48 members. So there should be 48 values in this entire table. So let's just count them up. So we got 12 and 12 is 24, 24 and 16 is 40, 40 and 8 is 48. So we are good there. All right, so now we can do our relative frequencies. So remember how to do that. So 1 over 48, and let's get our calculator here so we can just do it quickly. And I'm just going to cut to the chase and move my decimal point over 2 spots. So that looks like it would be 2.1. 2.1%. So 2 out of 48 would probably be 4.2%, but I hate to get things wrong, but I was right, 4.2. 5, looks like 10.4. Okay, 12 out of 48. I should know that one, right? Yeah, 25%. And we might as well do that one too. And 16 out of 48. I'm going to take a wild guess and say that's 33.3, but just to prove it. Yay. So we're good there. And again, you know, if we add those up, it should be equal to 100%. And we're going to just kind of assume it. Without even checking it, we're going to assume it's 100%. So, all right. Now, the one other thing, because I don't have an example here, is when we create a histogram or a frequency polygon for these grouped frequency distributions, the bottom is a little different because now instead of individual values, you have these classes. So here's my note on that. When labeling histograms and frequency polygons, simply write the entire class for each column across the bottom. Note, although this is the method we will use for labeling in this class, other classes may utilize other methods. So again, this course is a little different than a true statistics course. So they might want a little bit more detail in those diagrams. So, but for this class, all you need to do is just label the entire class underneath those spots. You know, so wherever we had those values, like over here, instead of having a value here, we could say this would be like, you know, 21 to 25. that would be fine. That's all they want to do for this class. So, okay. Anywho, that should wrap up this video, and we're going to see some other types of ways to represent data in the next video. So, see you soon.